Welcome to Special Stage. You're joining us for the end of season review for the 2013 REIS Get Connected BTRDA 1400 Rally Championship. And what a season it has been. We've had high drama at every single event, fast-paced action, and of course, results that you might not have expected all the way through the field. So stay with us here at Special Stage as we bring you all the action and all the best highlights from this fantastic season, and of course, as we reveal who came out on top at the end of 2013. First out onto the stages are last year's champions Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child. They find out just how treacherous and slippy these conditions are, but nevertheless they end the first two stages 5 seconds in front in their trusty Nova.
Into turn 7 left. Whoa!
Making his debut on the Wide-In Rally would be Yorkshireman Matt Smith, with experienced co-driver Giles Dykes on the notes. They set a blistering time in stage 1 to go 8 seconds faster than anyone else in that Ford KA, but a lack of grip in stage 2 sees them drop a handful of seconds. A welcome return to the 1400 series for Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts will be going well so far. After only competing in 2 rounds last season, Darren admitted to being a little rusty on his local event, not helped though by the slippery conditions. Moving on to the Rally First category now, and James West and Steve Edgington lead the way after the first 2 stages in the Rally First 1.4 class. 11 seconds back from the Rally First lead in second was the Micra of Ian Arden and Siobhan Pugh. New for 2013 is the Rally First class for 1600 cars. Only one entry on this round though, and that's the French crew of Julien Fouquet and Christopher Perry. They hold third overall in Rally First. Back to the top of the leaderboard, and Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child would extend their lead after a further 2 stages just across the Welsh border. Their lead now 24 seconds. Matt Smith and Giles Dykes in the Ford continue their fast pace on unfamiliar stages in second. A bit of a scare here in stage 3 sees them drop a few seconds to the leaders, but luckily no damage caused and a lucky escape all round.
Left 1 wrong, Titan.
Moving up to third now, and on the pace are David Bennett and Alistair McNeil, the pair finding the conditions very slippery and hard going in that Corsa. Extending their lead at the top of the Rally First times are James West and Steve Edgington. Julian Fouquet and Christopher Perry move up into second in Rally First now, despite some issues with a sticky throttle and the fuel pump. Ian Arden and Siobhan Pugh going well. They lie just 2 seconds off second place in this class. They also hold second of the Rally First 1.4 crews. With 2 more complete and just 1 big one left, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child would make a big push and extend their lead at the top to over 45 seconds. A comfortable lead as well, with 1 13.5-mile stage to go. Ford KA pair Matt Smith and Giles Dykes have no answer for the pace set by the reigning champions and the leading crew up ahead. Nevertheless, they increase the gap to third place to 16 seconds now. And occupying that final podium place are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil. James West and Steve Edgington continue to extend their advantage at the top of Rally First as they look to take their first category victory. Ian Arden really on a push now with Siobhan Pugh alongside. They move up into second place after stage 6. And completing the top 3 are Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS. The last step on the podium goes to Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy, but they also claim top honours in that Rally First 1 litre class. And this isn't bad really. After an 8-year break, Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS are delighted to leave Chepstow with second. But leading from start to finish here at the Wide-In are James West and Steve Edgington as they claim their maiden Rally First victory. great finish for Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil. They end the day in 3rd overall. This result even better when you consider that the pair haven't competed for nearly a year. Matt Smith and Giles Dykes finish higher than they ever expected by claiming 2nd here at round 1. This crew will be one to watch as the season progresses in that little Ford KA. And finishing where they left off in 2012, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child claim the victory by nearly a minute. This also being Julian's 5th straight 1400 victory on the Wide-E. After 3 stages in the Cumbrian forests, our 1400 leaders would once again be Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child. The pair here visiting these stages for only the 2nd time, but making a good impression at the top nonetheless.
Whoa. 4 right tightens hold inside, 3 left cut.
This year's 1400 newcomers Matt Smith and Giles Dykes lying 2nd at this early stage, just 23 seconds back from Wilkes, and showing that the battle from round 1 was recommencing here at the 2nd round of the championship. Sean Matthews and Thomas Parry make their return to the series in their Mark II Escort. Having been blighted with engine problems throughout 2012, they got off to a good start here in Cumbria to hold 3rd now. In the Rally First category, it would be a new name at the top of the table in the form of Slovenian driver Marko Jerem with Steve Green on the notes. This surprisingly the local rally for the pair, both working at M Sport when they're not out leading rallies. The pair hold a 30-second lead at this early stage. And having suffered with electrical problems on round 1 with their MG ZR, Joe Everett and Calvin Holdsworth make a return to their trusty Vauxhall Nova for this event, going well so far in 2nd place. Just 2 seconds back in 3rd at round 1, Rally First winners James West and Steve Edgington. Having a clean run so far, the pair would be looking to extend that in the fast-flowing Grisdale stages. With a further 2 stages through the Grisdale forests complete, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child still sit at the top of our leaderboard with a 21-second margin. Going fastest though on the first Grisdale test by 5 seconds, Matt Smith and Giles Dykes in the Ford KA take the fight to Wilkes once again. However, they lose 3 seconds to the leaders on the following test. Nevertheless, the pair will be surely happy with these times on unfamiliar stages. Unfortunately, we lose Sean Matthews and Thomas Parry from 3rd place in stage 5. They suffer from more engine problems in that Escort. So following the retirement of a couple of crews in Grisdale, Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest are now up to the final step of the podium in 3rd. Still going strong as well. Despite Marko Jerem and Steve Green only being out for fun on a local event, the pair extend their lead in the Rally First category to over 1 minute 30 seconds. They also set a time in stage 4 which was 4th fastest of all the 1400 crews. Round 1 winners James West and Steve Edgington move into 2nd now, on course for a strong points finish to add to that round 1 victory. Joe Everett and Calvin Holdsworth end stage 5 meanwhile in 3rd place despite rolling the car. They are however forced to retire due to having no brakes. Not that the car looked like it would have got much further anyway. Mick Smith and Paul Osmond take 3rd and win the 1 litre class in the process. The change to red obviously working this time out. James West and Steve Edgington add some good points to their tally as they come home in 2nd place. But taking the victory by a considerable margin are M Sport mechanics Marco Jarem and Steve Green, thanks to some seriously quick times throughout the day, and they hope to be back out depending on work commitments during the season. And in third we have the similar Proton Satria of Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest, another strong points finish for the pair here at round 2. Ford pair Matt Smith and Giles Dykes have to settle for second best yet again, but some encouraging stage times along the way will undoubtedly leave them full of confidence, and of course leave the competition looking over their shoulders. But talking of that competition, and number one here again are the unflappable pairing of Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child. A victory of just over 30 seconds sees them sitting pretty at the top of the points table, but there's still a long way to go yet in this exciting championship. Let's go to the stages right now for round 3. With another large entry gathered for round 3 of the BTRDA 1400 Rally Championship, the scene was set for battle to recommence in the Forest of Exmoor, and heading the field after the opening 2 stages are Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child on their home event.
Go on.
In second and on unfamiliar territory are Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest, the pair making the long trip south from Yorkshire to compete here, and it was going well at this early stage. Another Yorkshire crew travelling all those miles to the West Country are Ashlights and Matt Wattham. They hold third, just 9 seconds off the pace at the front. Looking at the Rally First category now, and it will be familiar names at the top in the form of Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth. Hard on their tail, just 7 seconds down are James West and Steve Eggington. They'll be looking to score some good points here to extend their championship lead, so this was a great start for the pair. In third we find Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS, going well for the pair and keeping things close with the top 3 leading crews. After a further 5 stages around the Exmoor National Park, including 2 runs of the infamous Porlock Toll Road, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child have extended their lead to 50 seconds. This gives them a comfortable margin with 4 stages remaining, but as we know, nothing is ever decided until the final time control. All changed through the rest of the field now as we find Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts sitting in second place. Their advance up the results looking good for some points this weekend. And moving up to a podium position now are Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham in third. Tipped by Wilkes as an up-and-coming driver, the pace was really showing this weekend. No change at the top of the Rally First table, Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth holding a comfortable lead of over a minute now. In second is another MG, this time is the crew of Justin Fowler-Bishop, Tudor REIS alongside. And making it an MG top 3 are Rory Jones and Tom Hughes. Despite a couple of moments in stage 4, they survive to make it back to service in that podium position. Rory Jones and Tom Hughes take away a credible third after a few problems throughout the day. And second of our Rally First crews securing their best result yet are Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS. Making a return to winning ways though are the delighted pair of Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth, rightly so as well. Their first maximum points score since the 2012 Nicky Grist stages. Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham leave Somerset amid celebrations with their best 1400 result to date, third overall, as well as fastest time on the final long stage through Croydon Forest. Some encouraging pace for the forthcoming rounds, even if the pair did look like they'd competed in the Dakar, with all of the dust building up inside the car. After a disappointing wide-in rally, and having missed the Malcolm Wilson, Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts would be delighted to head home with second of the 1400 crews here. Some luck finally coming their way. But taking another convincing victory are the unfathomable pairing of Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child. The crew even having some time for a bit of showing off at this hairpin in the final stage, giving our camera the thumbs up and a little honk on the horn. With championship leader Julian Wilkes missing from the entry this weekend, the Plains Rally would see a different 1400 winner for the first time this season. That we could be sure of, but who? Leading the early charge after the opening 3 stages are Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. Making a return after missing the Somerset stages, they hold a slender 13-second lead going into the first service and establish themselves as early favourites here at round 4. Setting a blistering pace on only his 3rd ever rally is Dan Evans with Chris Ridge alongside. The youngster from Herefordshire certainly one to keep an eye on as the season progresses. Just 3 seconds back in 3rd are Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest in the Proton, and hoping for a better result at this round following their problems at round 3. Moving on to the Rally First category, and it will be the familiar pair of Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth leading the way, back in their MGZR having used the Nova for a couple of rounds. And just 18 seconds back at this stage are championship leaders James West and Chris Bilstead in the Soul VW Lupo. Rory Jones and Tom Hughes taking 3rd at this stage, but the pair were not feeling particularly well, and it was showing in the times to start with, although improvement would come over the next couple of stages before service. With a further 2 stages completed in the challenging Hafren and Garthinog forests, Matt Smith and Giles Dykes would extend their lead to over 40 seconds now, and looking comfortable in their quest for victory this time out. Dan Evans and Christopher Ridge keep up a strong pace to hold on to second, slightly increasing their advantage over 3rd as well at this stage. But Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest hold on to that 3rd position, dropping time though when going through the water splash in Sweet Lamb when the car drops down to 3 cylinders. It eventually clears after a mile or so. Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth still lead the way in the Rally First category as they take a 10-second lead into the final stage, looking good for another victory this weekend. James West and Chris Bilstead meanwhile close up the gap to the MG in front, but with 1 stage remaining, it looks likely they'll have to settle for second. But in rallying, and particularly in the BTRDA 1400 series, and anything can and often does happen. James Watkins and Richard Suter move up into 3rd now following the demise of Rory Jones and Tom Hughes from that position. James Watkins and Richard Suter take the final step of the podium in 3rd with a clean run in their 1300 Micra. James West and Chris Bilstead meanwhile secure some more strong points. They take 2nd away from this weekend. But taking their 2nd category victory in a row are Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth. They cross the finish in Welshpool with a 14-second winning margin, making it 2 from the last 2 starts. So fortuitously but not undeservedly taking that final podium position are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil. A final stage push paying off as they secure some good points for their 2013 campaign. And taking their best finish of the year so far with 2nd are Dan Evans and Christopher Ridge in the Nova. Certainly more to come from the youngster, and one that many people will be keeping an eye on. But take nothing away from them taking that first maximum points finish of the season and the category victory in the process are Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. A faultless drive all day sees the Ford KA arrive back in Welshpool with a healthy 41-second lead.
Join us here at Special Stage for all the action from the Dukeries. It's round 5 of the championship.
Despite a slightly smaller than usual 1400 entry for this event, the action was as always expected to be fast and furious throughout the field. After 2 short stages, Matt Smith and Giles Dykes lead the way by just 1 second. This early pace shows that the pair are not put off by the return of Wilkes. And after missing out the last round, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child return to the fray and settle into an early 2nd place, feeling a little rusty after a break of nearly 2 months, and having a few moments as well along the way. Just 2 seconds adrift in 3rd are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil, the pair looking to put a disappointing Plains rally behind them, and they get off to a good start as well here in Sherwood Forest. Just the 6 crews out in Rally First this weekend, and they're being led by Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth in the MG once again. Tom Jordan makes a welcome return to the series in 2013 with John Jackson alongside. Tom making use of one of his 2 free entries he won in last year's Rally First category and going well so far in 2nd. Series regulars Mick Smith and Paul Stringer get off to a good start in their Micra, and they once again head the class for 1 litre cars. So with a further 3 stages completed in the Clipstone Forest complex, we unfortunately lose Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. Our round 4 winners retire in stage 3 with a broken gearbox, an unfortunate blow for our early leaders. This now of course means that Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child once again pick up the baton and lead the way, the pair putting in maximum attack over the fast stages and now holding a 30-second lead going into the service halt. Moving up to 2nd are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil, the pair having a clean run so far but having to keep a close eye on the chasing crews behind. First of those cars chasing them down in 3rd are Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest, just 7 seconds adrift. And with half the rally mileage left to run, it leaves them plenty of time to make up that deficit. Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth continue their fantastic progress in 2013. They lead Rally First now by almost 2 minutes. And having not competed for over 8 months, it would take a good few miles for Tom Jordan to get back into the groove of gravel rallying. Nevertheless, Tom and Jonathan Jackson hold 2nd of the Rally First crews still at this stage. Continuing to lead the 1 litre crews are Mick Smith and Paul Stringer, the pair increasing their lead to a comfortable 40 seconds now. But finishing 3rd and taking their 4th straight class victory are Mick Smith and Paul Stringer. A good result for Tom Jordan and Jonathan Jackson in 2nd on their first event of 2013. The pair bring the Micra back to Southwell Racecourse without a scratch on it. But taking their 3rd Rally First victory of 2013 by just 11 seconds, and after one heck of a day, Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth, a relieved crew, arrived back at Southwell Racecourse, just thankful they made it, let alone taking the win following their dramas in stage 6. But finishing 3rd and taking their 4th straight class victory are Mick Smith and Paul Stringer. A good result for Tom Jordan and Jonathan Jackson in 2nd on their first event of 2013. The pair bring the Micra back to Southwell Racecourse without a scratch on it. But taking their 3rd Rally First victory of 2013 by just 11 seconds, and after one heck of a day, Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth, a relieved crew, arrived back at Southwell Racecourse, just thankful they made it, let alone taking the win following their dramas in stage 6. Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham have a clean and consistent run all day. If you can call it clean, they still have to find those holes in the car to record another good result in 3rd. Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest are another crew to record their best result of 2013 with their finish of 2nd place. This result also sees them maintain their championship lead, without dropped scores taken into account of course. But taking their 4th victory of the season by a comfortable margin, the Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child in their ultra-reliable Vauxhall Nova, the pair once again setting a blistering pace from the word go. With regular co-driver Will Rutherford-Child unavailable for this event, Julian Wilkes has enlisted the help of the experienced Pamela Hilton this weekend. As expected, there will be plenty of hanging dust causing problems for the following crews, so it would be no surprise to see them leading the 1400 crews after the opening 2 stages. They hold a small 15-second lead at this stage. Following a disappointing final stage on the Dukeries rally where they dropped from 2nd to 4th, Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil will be hoping for a trouble-free rally this time around, and they get off to a strong start in 2nd. Matt Smith, with Giles Dykes alongside in the Ford KA, hold an early 3rd place, the pair returning after retiring in the early stages of the previous round of the championship. In the Rally First category, it will be James West and Steve Eggington leading the way in their VW Lupo. The pair set a scorching pace on the opening 2 stages to lead by 30 seconds, despite the pair struggling with an overheating car and having to have the heater on full blast to try and draw away some of the hot air from the engine just to keep it cool. Joe Everett and Calvin Holdsworth take up 2nd position at this stage of the rally, struggling a little with the dust, as was everyone else. But this weekend wasn't going to be an easy run for the Rally First dominating pair. James Watkins and Richard Suter take 3rd in their 1300 Nissan Micra, setting some quick times on their local stages. Two more stages now complete over the infamous halfway and Route 60. Julian Wilkes and Pamela Hilton would continue to lead the 1400 category. They head back to service at the Bilth Wells showground with a small margin of 13 seconds. Chasing them hard though in the dust are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil in the Corsa. The pair set the fastest overall 1400 time in stage 4 to slightly close that gap to Wilkes. Matt Smith and Giles Dykes keep up their steady run in 3rd place on unfamiliar stages, just 9 seconds back from 2nd and with plenty more miles to claw back some time. In Rally First, James West and Steve Eggington continue to set a blinding pace to lead by 39 seconds after 4 stages. MG pair Joe Everett and Calvin Holdsworth hold on to 2nd place, a small mistake at a hairpin costing them a few seconds but not enough to change the lead. James Watkins and Richard Suter continue their good turn of speed and extend their margin in 3rd. James Watkins and Richard Suter equal their best finish of the season so far with a 3rd place finish. Joe Everett and Calvin Holdsworth end up 2nd best here this weekend. After dominating a few rounds this season, it would show that things don't always go your way in rallying, and particularly in this close championship. This weekend's win just wasn't going to be for the MG pair. But take nothing away from them, taking their 2nd class victory of the season, having led from start to finish, are James West and Steve Eggington. The pair setting a blistering pace all day to extend that championship lead, and they'll be relieved to get themselves a well-deserved drink once the rally car has been packed away. Darren Pinchin and Karen Watts arrived back at the finish with a well-earned 3rd overall. A clean and consistent run all day from the pair, and unfortunately, this is likely to be the last time we see them out in 2013 due to other commitments. Julian Wilkes and Pamela Hilton finish in 2nd place this time out. The Nova completely running out of tyres on the final 2 stages, as well as suffering a puncture in stage 5. Nevertheless, it's a strong result for the pair on their debut event together. But taking their first ever overall 1400 victory, and a long overdue one at that, on the Nicky Grist stages are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil. A faultless drive all day sees them finish with a winning margin of 14 seconds after 45 miles of fast-paced action. The usual lineup, but not the usual start, as Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil are the ones to open out an early lead over the first part of the event. Stage 1 with 8 seconds of a lead, and a great start to this rally for the pair. And in second, Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. This crew not able to match the pace of Bennett over the opening stage, but they were keeping their championship rivals at bay at least. And those rivals, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child, they would be a further 9 seconds back in third place. Unusual to see the pair 17 seconds off the lead at any point in any event. The leaderboard in Rally First would be close at the top two, with James West and Steve Eggington coming out on the top step at this early stage. 5 seconds the advantage in that position. So for our regular Rally First frontrunners Joe Everett and Calvin Holsworth, it would be second at this stage. It was so early in the event though that this wouldn't necessarily be an indication of the final results just yet, but they would have to up the game to keep up with West. For Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS, it was third place. The intercom had gone on the first stage, meaning that the pair were working off hand signals in the car. On to the next two stages and a change at the top. We see Matt Smith and Giles Dykes come back to service with a 12-second lead of the event. For Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child, it would be second place. They just didn't seem to be able to get the traction on the slippery stages, and maybe Smith had found Wilkes' weakness. The afternoon stages would no doubt reveal more. Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest move up a place into third. That move mainly due to the loss of a crew up front. A small off in stage 2 though would cause them a little lost time when the car wouldn't select reverse gear. Things were going the right way once again for Joe Everett and Calvin Holsworth. They step up to take the lead in the Rally First category at the end of the morning stages. So for James West and Steve Eggington, it would be a drop down to second. They end this loop 15 seconds back in that position, so the pressure would be on for the afternoon. For Rory Jones and Tom Hughes, meanwhile, things will be going well for now. Third at the end of stage 3, but that would all change on the road section when brake and drivetrain problems would put them out of the rally. So that leaves us with a very different podium as we see James Watkins and Richard Suter take up that third position, and with it some good points for their championship, picking up that position late in the rally. And at this stage in the season, it really is all about points. For Justin Fowler-Bishop and Tudor REIS, the battle in the class was all but gone, but with people's retirements, it does leave them in second position at the end of the event. A great result for the pair. And taking back the lead after the mistake from Everett were James West and Steve Eggington. They finished today with over 2 minutes of a lead, right back where they begun here at the Woodpecker, and a great victory in Rally First this weekend. So onto the business end of the leaderboard and onto those podium positions. In third, it will be Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest. The pair seem to be getting good at these high rate finishes, but not yet the wins. Maybe the next round in Yorkshire could change all of that. And at the end of a tricky event, it would be Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child coming out in second. An unusual but interesting thing to be saying at the end of a 1400 event this year, but this weekend just wasn't meant to be. The faster man won, and for a change, it wasn't Wilkes. So all that means for Matt Smith and Giles Dykes in the Ford KA, it would be win number 2 this season. But more importantly, win number 1 with Wilkes present at an event. And that is quite an accolade, believe us. This rally was won on pace and pace alone. A well-deserved and hard-fought win for Smith. With 2 stages through Staindale and Dalby in the opening loop, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child would lead the field with just the smallest of margins, a mere 0.7 of a second. Chasing them hard are the local pair of Matt Smith and Giles Dykes, a KA crew hoping for a win on their home round of the championship. High expectations on their shoulders as well, trying to put their local knowledge to good use against the current 1400 champions. Irish visitors Leroy Mills and Robert Fife hold an early 3rd position, the pair setting good times on unfamiliar stages and showing some good improved pace over this season as well. In Rally First 1.4, the fight for the win was expected to be just as furious as ever. And after 2 stages, defending champions Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth would lead by just 11 seconds. Chasing them hard and looking for their first title are James West and Steve Eggington in the Lupo. The pair showing this season that the little Lupo was just as much of a match to the favoured MG. In Rally First 1 litre, Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy would be engrossed in a battle with another fellow crew as they lead the class by just 13 seconds. So with 2 further stages completed in the infamous forests of Cropton and Gale Rig, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child would extend their lead slightly to 5.1 seconds now. Still sitting in 2nd position are Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. They keep up the constant pressure to set up a final stage decider for the victory. And the final stage is a long one too. Unable to match the furious pace of the 2 crews up in front, Leroy Mills and Robert Fife settle into a comfortable 3rd position, opening up a 46-second margin to 4th position and showing that they can provide the times as well when things go to plan. Just as the 1400S battle really hots up, the Rally First 1.4 battle gets just as hot too. Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth continue to lead, and of course they want to repeat their championship victory, but they only extend that lead by just over 1 second. Leaving them and the VW Lupo, of course, of James West and Steve Eggington separated by just 6.2 seconds heading into the final stage, a daunting 15 miles through Langdale. In the Rally First 1 litre class battle, Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy would emerge after the first service fired up, it's fair to say, and they stormed through the stages to extend their lead to over 40 seconds. So with that final stage complete, our Rally First leaderboard looks like this. Bart Lang and Simon Cox take 3rd place, their best result of the season so far. Taking the 1 litre class victory are Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy, a controlled drive through the final stage sees them win by 47 seconds. And it's a massive blow for the championship for James West and Steve Eggington. They retire in the final stage with mechanical gremlins on their VW Lupo. This of course though sets up a final round showdown for the Rally First title. And taking the Rally First victory here in Yorkshire are Joe Evett and Calvin Holdsworth. A great drive all day under immense pressure from their championship rivals. Evett already doing all he can in the championship, and now all he can do is sit out the final round and see how the others affect his championship campaign. Leroy Mills and Robert Fife make the trip over from Ireland very worthwhile. They finish a highly credible 3rd overall here at the track rod on their debut season in the BTRDA 1400 Championship. With the miles under their belt and the experience of these events, 2014 could be a good year for the Irish pair. And it's final stage disaster for Matt Smith and Giles Dykes. Halfway through the 15-mile Langdale stage, they suffer a puncture on their Ford KA, dropping them over 2 minutes and out of contention for the rally win and for the championship. But what a season this pair have had, competing on many events for the first time and setting some blistering times and raising a lot of eyebrows along the way. There will be another pair for whom 2014 could hold much bigger things. So with Matt Smith out of the equation, Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child simply had to drive to the finish line. And they do just that as they claim the 2013 REIS Get Connected BTRDA 1400 Rally Championship for the second season in succession.
3 left, 5 right through the dip, 60, flat 2 right, 250 finish, into 2 right, finish. Wow, 15:05 on the clock, you are the champion 2013.
The Cambrian Rally marks the end of a dramatic season, and with stages not used for many years in North Wales, we don't expect this round will be any different at all. So let's join the action out on the first of the morning stages. Despite the 2013 Miller's Oils 1400 Championship title being decided on the last round in Yorkshire, a strong contingent of 1400 crews descends upon Llandudno for the Cambrian Rally. And after the opening 3 stages running very wet and slippery conditions, Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil would take an early lead of 38 seconds. Roger Priestnall and Jamie Forrest suffer their second retirement in succession. A bent steering arm forces them out of the rally on stage 2. Nevertheless, the pair have endured a strong season in the championship, and here's to hoping they'll be back for more in 2014. So taking second place then are Dan Evans and Tom Marrett at this stage in the rally, the pair hoping just to reach the finish on this, the final round, after a slightly disappointing 2013 season which has been plagued with retirements. The Peugeot 106 crew of Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham are another crew to have suffered a mixed season, it's fair to say. Their Cambrian Rally gets off to a good start though, with 3rd place at this early stage. In the Rally First category, James West and Steve Eggington lead the way. The pair knowing a victory here would give them the Rally First title, so the pressure was certainly on. Second in the Micra are James Watkins and Richard Suter. Another crew looking to secure a strong championship result this season, as well as points for their other campaigns. David and Robert Ginn lead the Rally First 1 litre class by just 1 second, setting up a tense battle then for the day in that class. So just the 3 finishers then in the Rally First category, and 3rd overall goes to Bart Lang and Simon Cox. They also take the 1 litre class spoils in the process. Carl Davies and Richard Jones finished in a credible 2nd position in their Micra, a good result for them this weekend. But commiserations to James West and Steve Eggington as they retire in stage 4 when they go off the road. This means they miss out on the 2013 Rally First Championship title to an absent, but nonetheless, I'm sure, delighted Joe Evett. But taking their first category victory of the season are a delighted, once again, James Watkins and Richard Suter. A fantastic way to end their 2013 campaign. Harry Gardner and Elliot Graham record their first finish in 4 rounds as they take the final step of the podium in 3rd position. The season started so well and such good pace shown. It went downhill from there though, but this was a sign that things were coming good again, even with the problems. And bouncing back from a disappointing season to claim 2nd on this final round, the Cambrian, are Dan Evans and Tom Marrett. You can expect plenty more to come from this young pair in 2014 now that they have the seat time underneath them. But take nothing away from them taking the overall honours for the 2nd time this season are Dave Bennett and Alistair McNeil. Leading from the start, the pair never look back and take a resounding 1400 victory on the Cambrian and also secure 3rd position in the Miller's Oils BTRDA 1400 Championship.
So Julian Wilkes and Will Rutherford-Child make it number 2 here in the 2013 REIS Get Connected BTRDA 1400 Rally Championship. Quite a few contenders though, all ready to take that trophy and that throne off them. We'll see in 2014 if anybody can manage to do that. And in fact, if Julian and Will be back to defend that title for a 3rd year running. I think you'll agree, the 1400 Rally Championship right here in the BTRDA is one of the most exciting, dramatic and action-packed rally championships in the UK. We hope you'll join us next year for more exciting rally action here in the 1400s.